Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to First 11, Grounded Football Tottenham. For the first time since we've started this, I'm actually going to use the intro that has been set up for me on the screen so everyone can actually see the Grounded Football intro. Look at that. Beautiful stuff, everybody.
Hey.
What my friend?
Only took 5 weeks.
Yeah.
5 weeks in, finally got it going. But Mark, how are you?
Yeah, good, pal. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Gearing up for the weekend, getting ready to see what happens.
Yeah, up and down week for us, I think. So, lots to talk about this week, I think.
Exactly. Jacob, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Are you ready for tonight's discussion?
Oh yeah, 100%, mate. I've been ready since Sunday, mate.
Well, if you've been ready, then God knows how Alan's felt. Alan, how are you, my man?
You're painting me in a really bad light here, right? Such a bad light. I don't know where this is coming from. No, I've been feeling really good all week. No, there's a lot to talk about. We'll get there. Looking forward to the weekend. We've got to beat the scum. Got to beat the scum.
God, yeah, definitely. Right, before we start, big up to Rachel, a massive ambassador for this show. Thank you very much, Rachel. There's only one place to start, boys, and I'm going to go straight to positive Mark. Obviously, we've got Chelsea fan in the comments already. It's not necessary, Prime. It's not necessary. Mark, talk to me about the Chelsea game. What an afternoon, eh? What a Sunday afternoon.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I was surprised, but pleasantly surprised when the team news came out. I thought, wow, when you've seen the last few weeks and he set up a little bit more defensively, and then all of a sudden the team that he puts out, I thought, wow, that's quite an attacking team. And I was pretty impressed with that. And listen, after the first half, I thought either team could have gone in 1-0 ahead, 2-0 ahead. I don't think there was much in it. But then I think you bring on, what did I say? Was it me that put it in the chat? Wait till Kante comes on. He was the one player last week I kept on saying, if Kante comes on, what he does is he soaks up everything and he allows everybody else to go up. And, look, I think one of the goals was pure luck. What do you do when it comes off your inner thigh and goes 70 yards the other way and goes in the corner? I think set pieces we're still not very good at. We've never been good at it. And we're still not very good at it. Doesn't matter what manager we got. And then I think the third one, I think we ran ourselves into the ground in the first half and the next 20 minutes. I just think we were knackered. So I think first half, very positive. Team-wise, very positive. A couple of players could have stepped up more, but then I just think we ran out of gas. I think it's still early in the season and there's a lot of players that haven't played together. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it because I was quite, what's the right word? I was quite positive with the team, the attacking team. And I thought we played some good stuff in the first half.
Yeah. Alan, Mark's talked about the team there. How did you feel when that lineup was announced? A bit different, wasn't it?
I was absolutely stunned by that team lineup and the way we played in the first half. I thought it was really good. So I'm not always negative. I'll give Nuno his props. He picked an attacking team. We went for it. We were like in their face and we caused them quite a few problems. And that's where it's going to stop for Nuno for now, because whereas against Palace, Nuno done nothing and we got worse and done nothing. Tuchel showed exactly the type of manager he is, classy manager. He not only identified the player he needs to put in, he identified that he needs to change the formation. Flooded in midfield, different game. And then it was men against boys because Chelsea just took us apart. So that's where that's where it's going to stop for me. I just hope we're coming forward with this game coming up against Scum that Nuno doesn't take that beating and go all defensive again. I think that's where we cause Arsenal a lot of problems if we go attacking, because the 2-1 nil wins they've had. I think you can get at Arsenal, but I'm hoping that he doesn't go back into his shell for that game. But yeah, once he changed the formation and showed how to manage the game in a game, within game he managed it perfectly, Tuchel. And then, Nuno couldn't. Every time he tried to react, Tuchel just, reacted that little bit faster and making another sub, and it was that. The second goal, he can't do anything about the deflection. But we are weak defensively. I've said it for a long time, even with Dyer and that back. We are very weak defensively, so it's still going to be a tough season ahead. I just hope we can bounce back this weekend.
Yeah. Jacob, what about you? How did you leave that game? Obviously, when we last spoke last Friday, I think all of us, bar Mark, predicted a loss. Obviously, Mark went for the draw and stuff like that. So how did you come out of that game, Jacob? What was your thoughts?
Well, at the end of the game, I was like, I told you so, because I did say in the show last week it'd be 3-0. But the mad thing is, in the first half, I was sitting there thinking, that prediction was a bit stupid. Like, I was happy with the lineup, but I did look at the lineup and think, well, he's put all our best players onto the pitch. So if we don't take the lead or take a 2-0 lead against Chelsea, I was looking at the bench thinking, well, who are we going to bring on to change the game if it's tight or if we're losing? So when we got to half-time, we dominated the game, but we ain't scored. I just knew we were going to lose. And then just before half-time, I went to the fridge to go and see if I got a beer, came back, had a look, and I saw Tuchel talking to Kante, and then I just said to myself, we're finished. Because I think what let us down in that game was the tactical nous of Nuno, because, I know a lot of Wolves fans up here, and they said the same thing, that no matter what form Wolves are in, Nuno never really changed the tactics. He might change the tactics at the beginning of the game, but during the game he never did, and that's probably the reason why he's got such a poor record in scoring in first halves. So it's just one of those. It was his tactical nous against Tuchel is probably one of the best, if not the best, in Europe. And the squads, you look at Chelsea's squad. Like if we weren't allowed to make substitutions in that game, Tottenham would have won that game. But because he made the subs and had the best knowledge on the pitch in terms of coaching, there's only one outcome after the second half.
Mm-hmm. You're on mute. You're on mute, Ryan.
There we go. Right, lads, I just want a one-word answer from you. This question, obviously, in the comments, is just a simple question for the panel. Who do you hate more, Arsenal or Chelsea? Mark?
Arsenal.
Alan?
Arsenal.
Jacob?
No brainer, mate. Arsenal.
It's Arsenal every day of the Arsenal every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some people, obviously, as Tottenham fans, we don't like Chelsea. I think most Tottenham fans at the minute are a bit envious of Chelsea and the spending and the ambition. That's what we want as a club. So to see a team from London spend that, and obviously to say the owner was coming to our stadium in the first place in a helicopter to come and put a bid in for Tottenham to then go straight to Chelsea. Yeah, it's just a bit of jealousy. That's all it is with Chelsea. But Mark, what did you think to the Lo Celso performance? Obviously, he's been getting a lot of slack at the minute, but do you think he's good enough for us now? Do you think he needs dropping?
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. And if we're going to do the two games, from Wednesday and Sunday, I didn't realize, and maybe that's just me because I'm concentrating on other players, but I didn't realize he can't use his right foot, can he? Everywhere he goes, he has to turn around to get on his. And when you play like that, people will find you out, and he's been found out so quickly. Whereas we've got a couple of other players, and I remember Moussa Dembele. He could play with both feet, so nobody knew where he was going to go. But I watched him on Wednesday, and then a little bit on Sunday, and he had to turn his body all the time. And he gets caught so that he has to pass very quickly. And for me, I just don't think he's making the grade. And then I talk to some people and they go, well, when he plays for Argentina, he's spectacular. And maybe because other players in Argentina are that good, like Messi, he doesn't have to perform at that level. So, yeah, for me, the jury's way out on Lo Celso at the moment. I don't think he deserves a spot in our team at the moment, the way he's played.
No, definitely. I mean, Alan, I know obviously you're not the biggest Lo Celso fan, but obviously watching him for the Kante deflected goal and the way that he absolutely bottled. Obviously, he lost the ball, and I've said on the stream, I went on Coys.com podcast.
Yeah,
which is a brilliant podcast. Like I said on there, us as fans want to see somebody lose the ball and fight to get that ball back. I don't care if he brings someone down. I don't care if he does anything. As long as we see as fans passion and energy and fight for this badge, then that's all we can ask for. But Alan,
I remember Tanganga on Zaha.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
Not
Have
too
you
much of it.
have you
Then
already
get one
seen
of
my
them.
Have you already seen my review of this on the terrace? Is that what you're asking me to see again?
Yep.
Yep. So for me, Lo Celso can get out of this club. I didn't rate him beforehand, but not only did I not see anything from him in the game, early on in the game, the ball came to him for a shot from the 6-yard box and he cleared it out of there. You know, we were attacking and he's cleared it the other way outside the box. I ask fans this all the time. Lo Celso's been with us 2 years. He's been, 45 million or whatever it was we spent on him? Name me a good performance. And people can only link it back to Norwich, or was it Norwich and Southampton in the FA Cup from last season?
Mm-hmm.
You don't spend 45 million on a player for people to and then say maybe 2 FA Cup performances. No, that's just not good enough. And for me, the way he bottled it out of that tackle and everything like that, which led to that second goal. So I'll take that back earlier on. You know, the deflection you couldn't stop, but you could have stopped the build up to it. And he was directly involved in that. And he cowered. He's a less effective Lamela. And Lamela stayed here for 5 seasons too long. He needs to get out of this club. I don't want to see him play for us because he's nothing but a bottle job and he's weak on the ball. He hasn't brought anything to this team to improve us. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk. Obviously, comment here. Mark, he played really good for Argentina. I mean, we don't want him to play good for Argentina. I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
bothered
what I
about
said.
I don't care what he
Argentina.
does for Argentina.
People say he plays so well for Argentina, but he's got Messi. Messi makes anybody look great, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, whether it's Lo Celso for Argentina or Kane for England, I'm not bothered how they perform for the country.
Yeah.
As when they're at Tottenham week in, week out, you expect better. Like Alan's just talked about there, Lamela. Yeah, at least if Lamela had lost that ball, he would have gone and fought. He would have chopped someone. He would have won the ball back, and he would have shown something. But I mean, Jacob, how did you feel watching Lo Celso at the weekend? Is this Premier League not? Is he not good enough for the Premier League? Is it better to cut dry now and let go?
That's what I was just. You literally took the words off my tongue. I think the reason why he plays well for Argentina is because the way they play, especially in the Copa America, it's more of a Spanish style type of football. So there's not the ultimate press. There's no quick exchanges like there is in the Premier League. So when he's playing in Argentina, it's like he's getting 3 touches on the ball, and that's probably the reason why he smashed it at Betis, because that's his style of football. It's like what we were saying about Tanguy last week. It's like on the ball, if he's playing in Spain and he's got 3 or 4 seconds to think about what he's doing, of course he's going to destroy. And I think the same is with Lo Celso, but we're in the Premier League. You've literally got to have a story in your head, especially as an attacking midfielder, before you've even received the ball. And I don't think he does. It's like every time he gets the ball, you just feel there's more chance of him giving it away than creating a chance. It feels that every coach he's worked under has tried to shoehorn him in. So Mourinho tried him in at CDM, didn't work. Nuno's trying him on the wing, didn't work. Ryan Mason tried him at bits and bobs, didn't work. And then Poch had him for a bit and didn't work. So it's like, that's 4 coaches with 4 different styles and it ain't worked. So, like Alan said, if you spent 45 million on a player, I know it's not the player's fault that we spent 45 million, but if you handed in the transfer request at Real Betis to take a step up to Tottenham, I know Tottenham ain't a Man City or a PSG or a Liverpool, but if you took that step up, you've got a level up. So if you're scoring 16 goals for Betis in Spain. Betis, you compare that to the sort of status in this league, a Betis would be classed as a what? I don't know, an Aston Villa. So if you've left Aston Villa to move to Tottenham and you scored 16 goals for Tottenham, for Aston Villa, you've got to deliver for Tottenham. I'm not saying score the same amount of goals, but if you're capable of scoring at a lower level in the same caliber league, then you've got to perform. And if you're not performing, be expected to be sold.
It's not just that. He's been here 2 years. Can anyone on here actually say what is his best position?
No, that's the thing.
No.
I don't know. Because he plays in number 10 and he don't assist and he don't score. On the wing, he's too lazy and not quick enough. CDM, he's going to get caught out. You know, you might as well. He's as good as Harry Winks in that position. So
there's one place only for him, and that's the bin. Just get him out of the club. It's as simple as that.
Just put him in one bin that's going to Spain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alan's on. I love it, Alan. I love it, and that's exactly what we want. This is why.
Brutal, man.
This is why I've got. This is why I asked this to be my permanent panel. It's pure honesty. Yeah. Obviously, even during Mark's positive time, that is how Mark feels. That's Mark's honesty. That's what he wants. Every show we've done so far, lads, it has been based mainly around one man, Harry Kane. We're going to spend 10 minutes on him on this show. Now, Mark, talk to me about Harry Kane, Mark, because I don't see no effort. I don't see no fight. I get frustration. Yeah. I get the frustration, but I don't see nothing.
Look, I'm going to dissect the Chelsea and then the Wolves game. So Chelsea, for me, he just looked so lost, so disinterested. He walked off the field after the game like, that kind of. It just did, and he didn't look interested on the field. But then I saw him against Wolves, and did you see him when he came off? The way he was joking with the team after we won the penalty shootout. He was holding people, hugging people. You know, he's smiling and everything. And what I saw on Sunday to what I saw against Wolves were two completely different things. And I want to see more of the Wolves thing. I'm not saying he performed fantastically with Wolves, but I just thought he had a better attitude. And when he came off the pitch, he was smiling. He was hugging somebody. He was joking and things like that. So he's got to get his mojo back, because if he's still sulking from the Man City deal or not being allowed, he's got to get over that very quickly. Otherwise, I hope, and it was yet to be seen, Nuno pulls him off, even though we don't have a great striker. But what I saw on Sunday didn't impress me from him. You know, he didn't try anything. He was that half a yard slower than getting to the ball, like all of our players in the second half. But I saw a much better attitude on Wednesday, and I thought he seemed to enjoy Wednesday a bit more. He got his goal as well, took it very well. He could have had a couple more if he was a little bit more clinical. That header that Son put on his head, and it went towards the keeper. And just when he came off, I just felt he looked like he enjoyed that performance compared to the Sunday. So I'm hoping the more he does, this Sunday he comes and he smashes a hat-trick against Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, this comment here from Samuel, obviously we're going to get to that, Samuel. We're going to talk about your dirty lot as soon as we've done with Chelsea and Wolves. We're going to get to that. So stay around, Samuel, and you will listen to everyone's predictions. But Alan, you talk to me about Harry Kane. What's your thoughts at the minute? Does he look interested? Does he look like he's fighting for the badge?
So I said when saying about, because I thought all summer long he was going City, and for me he probably would have done if City had put it in a proper bid. So that's on City. In regards to the gentleman's agreement, that doesn't happen in football. I don't give a shit about that. You know, that's just stupid. His team putting in the no release clause, that's stupid on his thing and all that. So he's only got himself to blame, as Man City have got themselves to blame. We've got him on a contract for 3 years, so if our requirements aren't met, he's not going anywhere. It's as simple as that. I said that if he doesn't go, he will act a true professional and he'll just carry on. I haven't seen that so far, so I think I'm wrong in that. I hope the way he was acting at the end of the Wolves game is a plus, but fans are going on saying, "Oh, he's lost it" and all that. No, they don't know what they're talking about. Harry Kane's a clinical finisher. He's one of the best in the world. He's obviously, I wouldn't say he's down tools. I think he's just like throwing a bit of a hissy fit, but he just needs to get that out of the system. He's here for a season at least. He just needs to get on with it. Because, although if you decide to, not play to the best of your ability, not only will your value decrease and you might go on all that, but if team, especially now he's coming on to 30 next year, will teams still want him? I know obviously people want him as a class finisher, but will the caliber of team want him that will win titles that he wants to win before the end of his career? I don't know. But for me, he just needs to suck it up and just be a professional.
Yeah. I mean, Jacob, this is obviously what Alan's alluded to there. I've given you a 2-part question here. Obviously, how do you think Kane's playing at the minute? Do you think he's showing fight? And like Alan's just said, will any teams come in from him in the summer? Obviously, Haaland's got a release clause. He's 8 years younger than Harry Kane. Mm-hmm. He's going to cost what we wanted for Kane this summer. I think Haaland's going to cost I think Haaland's 70 million less than that in the summer. What's your thoughts on him at the minute?
Yeah, I agree with you boys that it's a bit lackluster performances, but I do feel for him for a bit, because imagine, you're Harry Kane, you've got you've set yourself a standard as being the best striker in the Premier League and arguably one of the best in Europe. I think the only person that stands out as definitely being better than Harry Kane is Lewandowski. But it's like, imagine being Harry Kane. You're indoors, you're getting ready for the game, you're playing a London derby against Chelsea. Whether you're up for it or not, we don't know, because we don't know what goes on in his head. But I'd like to think he'd be up for it because it's a London derby. And then Nuno puts the team sheet out and says that Son's going through the middle and you're on the left. Straight away, it's just like, what? You've got to be a team player. But if Harry Kane is going to be played, he's got to be played in some form of central position. So if you tell Harry to play in a number 10, I don't think he'd mind. If you tell him to play the central striker, I don't think he'd mind. But then we're all seeing him line up on the left and he's to expose Thiago Silva. But I get that philosophy, but it's like, why don't you just stick Harry Kane up there? Because he's exposed everybody. He scored against everybody in the league. So in my mind, Son likes to play on the left as it is. So why don't you just leave it as a normal thing? I know we dominated in the first half, but probably the reason why we didn't score against Chelsea in the first half when we should have is because Harry Kane was playing in midfield and Son was up front. So I'll get the lackluster, because if you still got to put the effort in, because if you're Spurs born and bred, you should be putting it in regardless. You should be happy to play for the club are paying you and all that stuff, for giving you a platform. But then I do agree with Mark that he came into the Wolves game, obviously with a bit of better spirit. But then again, like I just said, Nuno's gone, all right, then you go up front and put Son on the bench, and then, Harry Kane goes and scores. Now for him, it's like, imagine being Harry Kane. You could play wherever you want, but you're thinking to yourself, last year we finished 7th and I had to score all the goals and I had to set them up. But then imagine being Harry Kane, turning around and figuring out who's going to set you up. Like, that Dele Alli pass was great, but he'll do that once every 5 games. So I do feel for him in terms of he hasn't got the personnel to go and win anything. And, there's no creativity and it's dull. But at the same time, he does have to pull his socks up and just say, look, if you do want that big move, he does have to go and have a season like he did last season, regardless of position, because everybody's going to fight for Haaland. If Man City go and get Haaland, then realistically, where do you go? I don't think Madrid will do it. Barcelona is skint. PSG have still got Messi. United has still got Ronaldo. Does he go to Italy? I doubt it. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you don't smash it this season and pull your socks up, you might want to leave for trophies. But like Alan said, you're not going to find a club that are definitely going to go and win those trophies for you, because they've already got their strikers.
Yeah, no, definitely. Before we get on to the next point, I want to thank everyone who's watching so far. Keep your comments coming in. We'll throw them to the panel. If you've got anything controversial to say, Mark and Alan will deal with that between them.
Don't know what you're getting at.
Oh, God, I love it.
I think you've got the perfect balance here, because you've got Mark, who's up here with the positivity. Alan's down here with the bluntness, and then I'm just in the middle because I just fluctuate. It's actually a really good balance.
And I'll just mute and drink my beer while I listen to you all, so that's fine by me, boys. I love it. That's fine. That's why I'm the host. I'll throw the questions out. But Mark, the next question's for you. past the Chelsea game, past the disappointment, midweek Carabao Cup. Did you expect to see that lineup? Did you
No,
expect
I
to
thought
see
it
a
was quite a strong.
lineup?
Yeah, I thought it was quite a strong lineup, wasn't it? So he's taking the cups quite seriously, especially knowing that he's got Arsenal coming up. Nice to see Tanguy get another start and actually last the game, or a lot longer. So maybe his fitness is coming up. I know, we're going to go into it and say, well, he kind of cost us 2 goals, which, yeah. But the more he can play, the more he can get his fitness up. I think there was some good stuff from Harry Kane. Nice to see Romero get the game. So, yeah, I think, the downside is when you 2-0 up, you don't expect to go back 2-2. And once again, what do we go and do? Set piece, we lose it. And then when we're looking comfortable with the ball, we go and lose it. Like teams like Chelsea, and that when they lose the ball, they lose it in the other half's half, where we lose it right on our big box. You know what I mean? So we need to smarten up and play smarter football. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with the lineup. I didn't think it would go that strong.
Yeah, Jacob, what about you? How did you see the lineup when it was obviously first announced? Did you expect any youth players in? Did you expect a big change, or was you happy to see the team he went with?
Yeah, I was, because I think the team would have been deflated because, against Chelsea, I was pissed off, but once it got to Monday and I was at work and I thought about it, I did think, with a bigger, better squad, we might have got a result against Chelsea, because Nuno would have at least had the opportunity to change things. Whereas when you looked on the bench, you thought, well, he's literally put all his cards onto the pitch, hoping that we're going to win it. So when I saw the lineup against Wolves, I thought, yeah, we'd probably need that, because regardless of the result, if we can go there and perform, which we did for a partial bit of the game, then we get a bit of confidence going into the North London derby. But at the same time, I did fear that if we go to Wolves and lose that, then how are we going to get anything confident, especially going into, which is one of always our biggest game, isn't it, North London derby? But normally, in terms of North London derby, the form goes out the window anyway. So regardless of what happens tomorrow, I was happy with the lineup on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Not
Alan.
tomorrow, Sunday. Sorry.
Alan, what about you? How did you look into it going into Wednesday? Did you feel like we'd have I'll say weakened, but did you feel like we'd rest the likes of Kane and players like that for the North London derby, or was you happy to see the side we put out?
I was happy to see the lineup put out because with 2 big 3-0 defeats back to back, I think you needed to get a positive result ahead of the North London derby. So I was happy that it wasn't our full strength team, but it was a positive team. Hill, I thought, was a really good player as well. I think you saw what he can do. So if we get him right into the team, progressing well into the team, I think we've got a complete. I think we've got a baller on our hands. And Dembele, you saw the good and bad of him in that game. Really good at the beginning, and then as he got fatigued, his performance diminished. But I think the more 90 minutes he gets under his belt, I think you'll see, because he's only ever played 60 minutes, I think you need to get him playing more regularly in 90 minutes to drive his fitness up. But there's a positive there. I think from what we need to do the rest of the season, I know we've been trying this 4-3-3. For me, we're set up better for 4-2-3-1. And I think we need to stick to that formation, because that's where we've got the best players in the best positions. For me, I know he does a good thing every now and again. I think we should drop Dele Alli. His only good position for Spurs, where he's had the best return, is playing off the striker, running into the box, and he can't play in that position because the team ain't. We've got everyone else in the other positions. He can't play deeper, so he needs to be dropped, because I think trying to put him into the team and find a place for him is also holding us back. So I would put him on the bench and go from there.
I'll give you something Spursy about the Wolves games, lads. I just remembered something. So I was watching the game on the stream, and because Wolves, the stadium's about 5-10 minutes away from my house. So I'm watching the game. We're 2-0 up. And then my partner was like, "Oh yeah, I've left the washing outside. Can you take it?" So I was like, "Yeah, no worries."
Oh, I know where this is going.
I'll kid you not. Yeah, I've gone into the garden. Yeah, I'm getting all the clothes off the pegs. I just heard, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, here we go." Walked in and it was 2-1. So I was in the garden and the crowd told me that Wolves have just scored. It's like, oh gosh, it's just so Tottenham, man. I swear that. Yeah, I just thought I'd say that. I forgot to say.
I mean, right. I'm gonna.
Before you go, the one thing I want to do, I we talked about Tanguy, and I don't want him to be so far back. I don't want him to defend anything. I want him to be up front. So this is where Chelsea are so good. They've got a Kante that will run for you he'll run through a brick wall. So he allows other players to go up. I don't want Tanguy back trying to head a corner because that's not where his skills are. He's 5'9", and he's trying to defend against somebody that's 6'2". It doesn't work. It makes no sense. Have him up front, and that's my only thing that I would say is, he's still kind of using Tanguy to push up, but also to come back. And I just think, and that's where I think Alan's right. I think Delhi is just, Delhi's the odd one out. He's the puzzle that doesn't fit, and because where Delhi's playing, all the other guys have to push slightly back a bit, and I just think it's an unbalance at the moment.
It's like your hands say it all, Mark. Like literally, Delhi is.
Yeah, I'm getting frustrated with Delhi. Get out, Delhi. I hope Delhi's watching. No offense, Delhi.
Can we clip that little bit because Mark actually agreed with me for once? Can we
yes, I will get it. I will sort that out for you, Alan. I will sort that. I will put that on all socials. I'll send it to the WhatsApp group.
That will be the start of next week's show.
That will be the intro.
Halloween.
I mean,
Breeze.
I'm going to get on to more. I'm going to get on to more Ndombele soon, but I'm going to ask you all about a player each. So you're all going to have a separate player each. This is from the Wolves game we're talking about. So, Alan, talk to me about Christian Romero. How do you feel he's settled in? Obviously, he's had the Argentina debacle with us already, but watching him in the games he's played, do you think he's a serious centre-back for us?
He's a serious centre-back, but I just don't think he's had the time to not only adapt to the Premier League with everything that happened with the Argentina debacle. He's not played many games, like many minutes. So we all know what he can do. We all know the type of a player he is, especially in Serie A, where it is defensive league, and that's where you develop as a player, especially as a defender. So he's got all the ability, but I've got to see more of him. I just hope, I hope he does for us what he did in Serie A, because then if we do, we've got a world-class defender potential world-class defender on our hands. I've just not seen enough of him, so I don't want to go hyping him up because I'm not like the scum down the road who buy a new player and hype him as the best there's ever been, only for him to be a bit of a flop, and then they go, well, stuff like that. So for me, I've got to see more of him. We know what he can do. We know he can be a top defender, but I've just got to see more of it from Spurs. But hopefully, good run in the team, to be our main centre back, and I hope we have got a quality defender there.
Definitely, I feel the same. I mean, Jacob, I'm going to ask you a question now about a player who started against Wolves. I said, who are you going to start at the weekend at right back, Tanganga or Emerson Royale? Which one would you prefer to see? Obviously, Tanganga started against Wolves. Emerson's played against Palace and Chelsea. Which one would you rather have? Which one's impressed you the most?
Got to be Tanganga, mate. He's a London boy. It's just got to, it's just, these games, it's like, whether it's a London derby, if it's a Northwest derby, when Liverpool play United, the fans love it when you've got either a Scouse or a Mancunian in the team, and it does bode well when, back in the day when you used to have Scholes against Gerrard and all that, it's brilliant. So it's the same in London, when we've had Ledley. To be fair, they ain't really any English people, have they? They've had like Wiltshire and people like that. But Tanganga for me, for sure. He showed the fight. I don't see a player that can play on the left for Arsenal that's going to give him too much of a problem. If Aubameyang's playing out on the left, even better. But yeah, Tanganga all day. Tanganga would be my starting right back. I like Emerson Royale, to be fair. He's had it rough, It's like you've told him to play against probably the best team in the league and one of the best wingers in the league at his own backyard. So he has. It's not like I've looked at him and thought, why have we bought him? He just had a tough start, and I think as it goes on and his fitness improves, I think we'll be okay with him. But at the minute, Tanganga proved to me against Man City that he needs to be there for the foreseeable. He just needs to have learnt from what he did with Zaha. You know, he got to the point where I think he forgot he was a footballer, and you know, he forgot he was a footballer and went back to his roadman thing, calling everyone a pussy and that. So he just needs to calm down a bit. You know, we all do it before. I've played a football before and got myself sent off just because I got pissed off. But you just learn from that and don't do it again. So yeah, Tanganga for me for sure.
Is Tanganga available? I thought he got a red
That's
card.
another thing I was just about to say.
It was only banned. It was only suspended for the one game, which was a Chelsea game. He got 2 yellows against Palace.
Oh, okay. I thought because it was a red in its own right, so I thought he got taken. He was given a straight red.
No,
Okay,
it's free. Yeah. I mean, before I go to Mark, Jacob, I mean, Emerson Royale, would you, if you want a player to get ready for this league, is there any 2 better games for him, whether we've lost 3-0 or not? Away to Palace against Zaha, and then a London derby. Obviously, they're both London derbies, but Chelsea, who are more rivals than Palace, is there any 2 games better for him to start in, whether we've started bad or not?
Probably not, yeah. Like you said, North London one would be a proper introduction to into any game of football in England. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'm not even being biased. The North London derby is the best game in the Premier League. You know, everybody hypes up Liverpool, Man United, or Man United, Man City, but everybody knows that when it's the North London derby, it ain't going to be a 0-0. Someone's probably going to get sent off. You know, it's a proper game. So, but you know, Emerson Royals had them 2 games in the London derby, which you know he's got to bode well for him. But I think in this one, he just needs to sit out. And as a Spurs fan, I don't want to be treating a North London derby as someone on the tap of the back going, "Go on, you're learning." No, we need somebody that's don't need the learning thing. Like Tanganga doesn't come across like he needs a tap on the shoulder. All he needs to be told is, "Look, use that anger that you had with Zaha in this game, because there's no point in being a little wimp and going, oh, sorry, I won't get sent off again. This is North London derby." Like me personally, I'm not a professional footballer, but if Nuno rang me tomorrow and said playing North London derby, I'd probably get myself sent off. You know what I mean? I just would from tackling. Like I wouldn't. It's just one of those. Like when it gets to North London derby day, literally, the living room's mine, mate. Or most of the time, I've had to go out to my cousins because it's just too much. I go a bit wild.
That's North London derby for you. Nah. Mark, I want to ask you about a player from the Wolves game. You've mentioned him a few times on this YouTube show, Brian Hill. How did you think he fared in that game? And how do you think he started to life at Tottenham?
Well, for me, I thought he was man of the match on Wednesday. I thought he ran around. I thought he did everything. The only thing I would say about Brian Hill, and he's so young still, I think he's got so much to learn. But what he's showing us so far, I just think he needs to bulk up a little bit. He's kind of, you know, you know how physical our league is. You know, in Spain and places like that, it's not as physical as our league. And I just think if there's going to be one thing that I'd like to see him do, is bulk up a little bit. But I think you can see there's a player in there, isn't there? You know, Wednesday, he was running, he was tracking back, he was trying to do things, he was trying to make things happen. And when I see youngsters do that, you know, it just makes me think, you know, when in the next couple of seasons, when we get, is it Pape Sarr? When players like that come back, you got him, you got Oliver Skip coming through, you know, young Dane Scarlett, when he starts to hit the laces, you know, I just think we got a real making, you know, Ramiro, you know, you look at him, you think he's been around a long time. What's he, 23 only? Yeah. You know, it's so Brian Hill has really impressed me. Will he start on Sunday for me if Lucas Moura's back? Because I see he's back in the fold. I don't know. I'd like him to start, especially after Wednesdays, because I think he'll be up for it. You know, in my thing, I think, you know, he kind of gets it, and I think, you know, he just wants to play football, and he wants to play against the best, and I think that's why he's come to England. And these are the kind of games that I think he gets. Just to go back on the Tanganga one, if I can, I agree with Jacob. I play Tanganga instead of Emerson Royal because I do think Tanganga gets it. I do think he understands the importance of the Tottenham Arsenal, because I bet you the four of us, when the fixtures came out, was it the 9th or the 16th of June, the first games we looked at is Arsenal. Where are we away? And because, will we be able to make it? Will it be my wife's birthday and I can't go on my wife's birthday kind of thing? Don't be on a certain date kind of thing. Anniversary, please, God, don't let it be on an anniversary. So those are the games we look at. And I'm sure the Arsenal fans are exactly the same. So that's how important it is to us. You asked us the question, do we hate Chelsea more, Arsenal more? Obviously, it's in our DNA. We can't stand Arsenal like they can't stand us. Did you see Paul Merson today? He turned around and he said, Højbjerg, he thinks he's better than he is. Now, why would you say that? This is the man that said Harry Kane won't score under Mourinho. What did he go and do under Mourinho? He won Golden Boot, best assist or most assist. So that's how much this bloke knows. You know what I mean? So there's always going to be that rivalry between whether you're a fan, whether you're a pundit, whether you're a player. But yeah, I think Tanganga gets it. On the flip side to it, he's got to also watch it because I'm hoping Xhaka plays on Sunday because there's a red card in that boy all the time.
Yeah.
And a mistake.
Oh, Xhaka.
Yeah. And he can't stand up. Yeah. And I want him. Yeah. If he's playing, for me, that's like a plus. If I was Arteta, I wouldn't play him because he's a ticking time bomb to happen. Because he gets it, but he gets it too much.
This is what I dislike about Arsenal fans. Some Arsenal fans is that they hype their players to be world beaters. I mean, some of them say Xhaka is a world class midfielder, or look, he does Switzerland. He's got a turning circle of a fucking tank. He's awful. He's got errors in him. He's got red cards in him, and they think he's a world beater. We know we've got shocking players, but some of them just hype their players beyond belief. And I'm like, no.
I know. No. You know what? Alan's so right. I remember, right, when there was the rumours of Thomas Partey, right? And my best mate, he supports Arsenal, so he just kept sending me these voice notes, Partey. And there's him and a couple of other Arsenal fans. And I'm like, look, just be honest with me. Have you seen him play? Because I know my football. I've watched Atletico play in the Euros. I've seen him a couple of times in La Liga. So I said, have you seen him play? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, which game was it which caught your eye out? And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, it's not hard. Which game did you see? And then when they signed Partey, do you remember all the little dances they were doing? And then they made a song about it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Alan's talking about. And then when Partey gets injured, they're all on Arsenal fan TV saying, oh, they remember when we beat them 2-0 and he come off injured and they're all going mad. I was like, well, 3 weeks ago, this was Vieira, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's not just that. With Granit Xhaka, I've seen Arsenal fans say, he's got 94% pass completion in the game. And I'm like, well, 90% of that sideways 10 yards or back behind him.
It's like Harry Winks. Yeah, it's like Harry Winks for us, yeah.
Exactly, Harry Winks. Harry Winks only passed sideways or backwards. We don't claim him to be a baller. We want him out of this club. It's what really winds me up with some Arsenal fans that they just overhype their players massively.
Mate, most goalkeepers have got that pass rate. Goalkeepers have probably got 90%. So I don't know what they're going on about.
That Thomas Partey song has had more minutes than he's had on the pitch for Arsenal so far. That has been more minutes.
He's broken down more times than the second-hand Vauxhall Corsa. He really has. He just breaks down all the time. No.
Alan, you're going to get us kicked off in a minute. You get us kicked off the street in a minute. We'll have Rachel and Indiana on to kick us off soon.
No, they know it's honesty. They know it is. It's
fine. I mean, we're going to talk about honesty, boys. I'm going to go to you, Mark. Talk to me about Ndombele. What do you see this season for him? Obviously, he's played. He's started games now. He's getting minutes under his belt. Like you've said already, playing further up the pitch. He's not. I mean, I don't know why he was on corners for Dendoncker. I don't understand. I don't know where that tactic comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know why a player like him is on a man the size of Dendoncker, as good in the air as he is. But what do you see for Ndombele going forward now?
Well, listen, I just see better things to come because, like Alan said, and I think when I said earlier, if he can keep his fitness up, the more he plays, I think it was the first time he played 90 minutes in about a year and a half or just after Jose and everything. So, yeah, I think he just needs to build up his fitness. And we need to keep him. And I think this is where we were talking about, does Delhi fit in the side now if we push Tanguy further up, then we've got Skip and we've got Thingy back. So I don't know, but I see him, Sonny, Kane, and either Gill or Lucas Moura having a whale of a time up there. And I think if all of them click and we can get that midfield, like the holding midfield, where you've got the Højbjergs and you've got the Skips that allow them to go and do what they want to do. I just think this guy can be sublime. I think because he's low center of gravity, and I just think, and if his mind's right, he seems to be enjoying his football as well. When he comes off the field, he's laughing, joking, he's talking more. Did you see how everybody ran over to him when he scored his goal? They were really pleased for him. So I think with his guys, his friends, his best friends that have left, and I'm sure he's still in touch with Sissoko and they still go out for a meal or that, because he's only down the road in Watford anyway, isn't he? So I think he's growing into the club, and I think the more he does that, the more he'll become an influential player. And I think the guys realize how good he is. So the more Nuno plays him up front, I'm with you. I don't know what he was doing marking Dendoncker. And I don't know what he was thinking, trying to dribble out where he was. If he was up in Wolves' big box, I've got no problems. Yeah. If he's trying to dribble 6 players there, please go ahead. Fill your boots, but don't try that where we've got Ramiro, Sanchez, and people like that, because it's an accident waiting to happen. So, yeah. To be honest, I watched the playback. His legs did get taken out a little bit, so that could have gone either way. But however, with the way the referees are doing now, they're trying to play a lot of advantage play. Keep the goal. You don't want to be touched and fall over like we did last season and the season before. The fouls that were committed. So for me, going forward, I can only see better things with Tanguy, and I think he will get better, and I think he will score more. I think he needs to move up front more, and we're going to have to lose somebody. And like Alan, I think Delhi's the one that's going to give way. I hope.
I tell you what, Jacob, these two are agreeing. They're too much tonight for my liking. These beer on. I'm not liking this tonight. I think they had
a cheeky beer in the week, mate. I think they've gone for a cheeky beer and settled their differences.
Well, let's see if we're 3 for 3. Alan, tell me about Tanguy. What's your thoughts on him going forward?
Same as Mark.
Yeah, me and Mark agree on everything tonight. Let's move on. I know. So for me with Tanguy, obviously I didn't like the way he was with wanting to leave because he's friends and whatever else have you. So he needs to get his mentality sorted. For me, he's here for the season, so we'll see what happens. He needs to develop. He needs to learn. I think in the French league, you could have that time to take the ball and try and dribble out, and he had the ability to do it, but in the Premier League, although it went in the league, it was a cup game. You've got more pressure quicker on you. So there's times he's got to learn to just kick the ball out. So, he's got like I've always said with Ndebele, he's got the ability, but I don't think he's got the mentality. I'm hoping that he can get out into his game and so he can just get down and focus, because he's got all the ability in the world. We just need to see it on a consistent basis where he performs to the highest levels and, he doesn't go wandering in the game or he doesn't make silly mistakes. But we'll have to wait and see over time. But I think he needs to play more 90 minutes and get his fitness up. And I think that's where you'll be able to see the best of him. But yeah, I still question his mentality until I see something different. All right, Ryan, I didn't have to send you asleep that much, did I?
Yeah. I don't think you like your answer.
No, he doesn't.
What do you think of him, Jacob? What's your thoughts on Tanguy, Jacob?
I think I agree with with both of you. He's one of our most gifted players, but then his head isn't right. I think what it is we need to do is, I know we shouldn't make provisions for just one player, but I think, similar to what Mourinho did with Ozil. So when Ozil was at Real Madrid, it was like, you knew Ozil weren't going to track back, you knew he weren't going to defend, and you also knew that when it got to like the 75th, 80th minute, he's going to be knackered. But then in those 80 minutes for Real Madrid, he would have set up Ronaldo, Benzema, Di Maria, done his bit. Real Madrid are 3-0 up at the Bernabeu, hook him off. And Ozil used to be annoyed because he used to be hooked off all the time, but it was pretty clear that with 10 minutes to go, he was knackered, and he could be the reason why Madrid conceded a goal, because he was knackered and he was being lazy. So I think if we did the same, I was thinking it the other day that if Nuno's going to be a defensive coach but wants our attacking players to attack, then you might as well mix it up a bit. So in my mind, don't know whether he'd do it in a North London derby, but he used to like playing a 5 at the back with the wing backs. So you might as well just play the wing back system, have Højbjerg and Ollie Skip in midfield to shore it up. So then you effectively have, 7 players behind, 8 players effectively behind Ndombele, Son and Kane. So literally you say to the 3 of them, you lot do what you want. I don't even want you back. You just stay up there. And between the 3 of those, even if there's 5 defenders, I think them 3 score a lot of goals and assists. So it's good. I do like Tanguy because, on the ball and his feet, I think he's the best in the Premier League. But then he ain't going to track back. At the 70th minute, he needs an asthma pump. It's just, for me, if we're going to rely on Ndombele to be an important player for us, we need to change it into a system where effectively he's got 10 people around him prepared to run. And we all know that when he gets the ball, don't worry about the running, mate. You just get the ball, do what you do, taking it past 3 people and set people up and score goals.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Mark, is there anyone in our squad like Ndombele who can actually get the ball? Obviously, the goal against Wolves, I'm sure many of us, like myself, was watching a dodgy stream and it was crashing and you couldn't watch it properly. But for the goal, he looked hungry for the challenge. He actually went in, won the ball before he got his goal. Obviously, great footwork in the box, got it. But have we got anyone like Ndombele, Mark, who can actually, on his day, a happy Ndombele, a fit Ndombele, can change a game for us?
I think Harry Kane can change a game for us. I think Sonny can change a game for us. You're taking 2 players that we consider world class, Harry Kane and Son. If you talk about somebody that's got the flair that can maybe go past 3 or 4 players and things like that, most probably not. No. But can change a game? Yeah, we've got a couple, Harry Kane and Sonny. But yeah, I think he is a special player. But and I don't want to agree again. But if he gets his mentality right, because that's where it's lacking. Because I don't think anybody's questioning what he can actually do on the ball, but it's his work rate. And I think that was the same with Mourinho, because with Mourinho, it's all about work rate. And I think that's why Delhi plays, because this season, every game he plays, he's running the most. But he's not doing anything else, really. So, you want some pizzazz, some oomph, you want that. And I think that's going to have to give now if we're going to give Tanguy a longer run. Because I just think Delhi is the one that just doesn't fit into our puzzle now. But yeah, I think he can be a special player, get his mentality right, and yeah, he can be a game changer for us. Especially with those 2 up front, with Sonny and Kane.
No, definitely. I mean, we're 54 minutes in, boys. Obviously, everyone who's watching, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to First 11. Follow the lads on the socials. They'll come up at the end. But now, just gear in for 25. I don't care how long this show goes on for. We could be here all night. But next, it's a North London derby, boys. We're going to talk about them down the road. Alan, are you hoping we line up against Arsenal? Have you got an 11 in your head that you're hoping goes out to face them?
Yep. So for me, I'd have Lloris in goal, Tanganga right back. I'd have Romero and Dyer centre backs. I'd have left back Reguilon. I'd have Skip and Højbjerg in front. I'd have Ndombele in front of them. Kane, Son, and either Hill or Moore if he's back.
No, definitely. I tweeted the same team out today.
Yeah,
definitely.
So,
but
like I said, I think the players we've got is set up for a 4-2-3-1. That's what our best position is. A position with like the system we know as a team. So changing it and trying to do different things that isn't quite working, just stick to what we know for now. And then, over a season where you can develop a squad, stuff like that, you can bring something in, but trying it too quick too soon, I think, has caused us problems. I think we're at our best at a 4-2-3-1.
No, definitely. Jacob, are you expecting any surprises come the weekend? Any shocking conclusions?
I'm not expecting any surprises, but if I'm honest, if Nuno rang me and said, Jake, what do you want me to do? I would actually try and nullify Arsenal in centre midfield, because I think with Odegaard, Xhaka, and I don't know who they'll be playing as another one alongside Xhaka. I think if you outnumber them, just like Chelsea did against us, I think you beat them, because their fullbacks aren't the worst. Tierney's a good left back. I'm not sure they'll play at right back. It'd probably be someone like Callum Chambers or something like that. But I think
Tomiyasu would be, wouldn't it?
What's that?
Would it be Tomiyasu? They'd play at right back.
Oh yeah, of course it will. Yeah, it will be. Yeah. So I think if you smother their centre midfield, then like Alan alluded to, Xhaka turns like a tank. So if it's there and he's being dominated midfield, I think we beat Arsenal. It's as simple as that. So for me, I would probably go with a back three with Romero in the middle of it, Dyer one side and Sanchez the other. Reguilon left wing back, because if he's going up and down that flank, then he's got cover, and I think we can expose their right back, who's not the quickest. The other side, I'd have Tanganga, and he can have a good old battle with Tierney. I think Tierney's one of their threats going forward, so I think Tanganga can put a stop to that. And Arsenal don't really play with an out-and-out left winger, so there'd be a battle down that side. Then you'd have Højbjerg and Skip giving the forwards reassurance that they ain't got to come back, and then that means you effectively say to Ndombele, Son and Kane, you three stay up there and beat them. So then effectively you'd have Kane and Son up against their back two, and Ndombele in the hole. And if he's in the hole along with Højbjerg and Skip, then Xhaka ain't going to know what to do. And I think if Tanguy's picking up pockets, every 5-10 minutes, he'll just pick. He's going to look up and see Kane and Son, and realistically, you can't ask for a better pairing to pass to, can you?
No, definitely. I mean, Mark, the comment that we've got here from Premier Hotspur TV, going with a midfield three of Højbjerg, Dele and Ndombele. Would you go like that, or would you rather have Skip in there over Dele?
Yeah, God, what's this, the third time I'm going to agree with Ellen? My God, what's going on here? There's something wrong,
it's not a bad
seriously.
thing to agree with me, Mark.
Yeah, wow. I would go exactly what Alan's doing. I'd put Dele on the bench. I don't know who I'd go with, Gil or Mora, but I think I'd probably nudge him with Gil just after what he did on Wednesday for me, and bring maybe Mora on for the last 25 minutes, because obviously he's been injured. So yeah, I just think if we're going to play Ndombele up there, and we're going to have those, Sonny and Gil on the left and right, and Kane through the middle, I think you need those two holding. And I think with Romero and Dyer, I've got to say Dyer's play, he's pleasantly surprised me this season, and long may that continue. I'd go the same with what Alan's saying.
I can see Alan's face when you talk about Dyer here. Whenever you talk, Mark, I just watch Alan as you talk, and I just love to see it. Alan, I mean, Dyer or Sanchez, you've got to go with one. He's going to start one of them, maybe both of them. Obviously, that's the centre back. That's the only centre back partnership this season that's kept as a clean sheet. Well, not just one, but a couple. Now, would you start Dyer and Sanchez, or would you go one with Romero?
No, when I said my team, I'd go Romero and Dyer. So last season, I said Toby Alderweireld was the best of a bad bunch, which he was. This season, I'm not going to put Romero in with the conversation because he's probably going to be, the aim is for him to be our best, or our main centre-back for years to come. The best out of the bad bunch after that, as I think Rodon, we don't see enough of him. It's too soon for him. I would definitely go with Dyer over Sanchez because I think Dyer elevates his game. When he played with Alderweireld, his game elevated because I think he needs that. So I think Romero can get that out of him. Whereas with Sanchez and Dyer at the back, for me, it's still the blind leading the blind. Musical statues. They're playing musical statues back there. They don't move to the ball, so I would not play both of them together. I know there was 3 clean sheets beforehand. We also got lucky that we didn't concede in them games. We rode our luck a bit, but I would put Dyer over Sanchez with Romero.
Yeah. Jacob, is that the same for you?
I'd agree. Yeah. If he's not going to go over back through, which I doubt he will, then I would as well. It's like Dyer does seem like he's composed himself a bit. I think he sees himself more as the leader of the pack now. I think what it is, even though he made a few mistakes under Mourinho, it's like I think he feels that he's got to do it for himself and the fans because it's evident that he loves Tottenham and he's probably looking around and the days of Poch, he knows they're gone, but he still needs to be a stalwart. So I'm not saying he's a worldie, but he's becoming that defender that doesn't really make as many mistakes as he used to, and he's composed. And to be fair, he's the one that's always leading the back line now. So I think he's took over that mantle as the leader in defence. Romero, like the guys have said, he's been bought to be our best defender. Whether he's going to lead the line or not is a different question. So yeah, he'd be dire. There was a couple of times against Wolves where I think Daniel Prudence just turned Sanchez inside out, and you know when the defender gets turned inside out, and you kind of think, all right, you just got skinned because it's like an Eden Hazard or something. But sometimes when Sanchez gets skinned out, it's like, was you even watching the game? Because he just looks so lost when he's been turned out. It's worrying, There's times where he literally gets spun 360. Jacques would be jealous of the way he gets spun sometimes. But it's just one of those where. I agreed. Dyer is another one that knows what it is about the North London derby, just like Tanganga. You just need a couple of people that, Romero would have understood rivalries. So, in Argentina, he would have had Boca Juniors. When he's at Atalanta, he would have had a couple of derbies there. But it's just one of the ones when you've got Dyer. I'm sure Dyer would be in there along with a Tanganga, Harry Kane. You've got 3 or 4 players that are of English core that if they start, will be educating the rest of the lads, but then you've got players like Son, Lucas Moura that again they've been in the country long enough to know. So I just think Luna needs to go with a lineup that everybody understands what the NLD is. None of these people that we've got to hold hands with.
I'll before I go to Mark, I'll ask you then, Jacob. I mean, does this mean you want Harry Winks to start? He knows the North London derby. He knows all that. Are you wanting Harry Winks in the team?
No. He can be the lino, mate.
No, as a cheerleader, Celso, he can be in the bin as well. No, get him out.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He knows it, but then Ollie Skip, I want him to have a chance because he's been at Spurs since a young guy. Yeah. He'll know as much as Harry Winks. So it's like you wouldn't play both of them and take Højbjerg out. You'd literally say one or the other. It's difficult with Højbjerg as well because I like Højbjerg. He does break it up, but I've noticed that there's times where he hasn't played and the team play a lot more fluidly. Like with Højbjerg, he's off the ball, love it. He's a leader, he's a proper warrior. But then, when he's on the ball, we've seen him a couple of times on the edge of the box when you're thinking, go on and shoot. And he just does something weird, like passes it or passes it backwards or don't shoot. And, he scored against Rennes, but you'd have him in, of course. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying take him out, but...
For me, that's the problem. I think Højbjerg is, for some reason, overused going forward. Just let him do the ugly work, what he's good at.
Yeah.
Stay back, break play up, be the protective cover for the defence, lead the line, lead the team from back there. But for some reason, we always want to play him up. Don't get me wrong, he can play and all that. But, in the Premier League, I don't think he can get, as he can for his country. I don't think he can do the same thing. So just... let him patrol that area, let him do what he does best, and let the others, attack.
Yeah. I mean, everyone watching, we've got some on YouTube, we've got some on Twitch. We are getting to the prediction soon, but it is a North London derby, so bear with us. There's a lot to say about that team that we're playing at the weekend. But Mark, about that team at the weekend, is there anyone that worries you when we go to play them?
Not Mark.
No, they don't worry me. They don't scare me. They don't, they don't fill me with dread like Chelsea do. You can clearly see how well Chelsea set up and their manager and everything. Nothing scares me. But on their day, I'm sure they could be lethal. I just hope it's not on Sunday, because they do have some good players. They come with some good pedigree. And I'll be the first one, if Aubameyang's on form, if Lacazette starts up with him and they're on form, Smith Rowe starts, he's on form, Tierney, if they all start to click, we've got to be on our mettle. But no, they don't scare me. I think, the tide's turned now, over the last 5 or 10 years where, they used to come to us or we used to go to them, and it was kind of like, okay, well, the best we can really hope for is a draw. So, yeah, I think if he plays our strongest 11, I think we'll give them a good go, and I think we should beat them. I don't think we should fear them at all. So, no, I'm not scared of any of them.
Alan, what about you? Is there anyone in their lineup, any single individual that you look at and think, oh, him up against him, he could cause quite a big problem for us at the weekend?
How long have we got?
As long as you want, Alan. As long as you want.
Okay. Bear with me. So
Put a timer on.
I'll be honest. So Arsenal do have some quality players. I'm not going to feel that. So Aubameyang on his day is a quality finisher. You've got Saka. We all know that Saka's a decent young player. Yep, he hasn't scored for 7 months in the Premier League, but we know what he can do. Emil Smith-Rowe is another good youngster. Lokonga, I think, looks a decent buyer in the centre midfield. They've Kieran Tierney. I'd have him as a left back all day long. I think he's a great left back. For me, Tomiyasu looks decent, but with Tomiyasu, they're saying, oh, he's an amazing player and all that. His 2 Premier League games have been against Norwich at home. He's not getting pressured Norwich at home. I saw his highlight video of him on Twitter, and 90% of that was him passing backwards or sideways 5 yards, and everyone was saying it was an amazing performance. So you've yet to be tested. You've yet to be tested. This is what I mean by Arsenal fans overhyping their players. Yet to be tested. So don't worry about that. Arsenal have won 2 games 1-0, and they're back, apparently. No, you're not. You've had 2 easy games. When you get tested and all that, and you start beating bigger teams, then, yeah, you can say that you're going to get better. I always said, when I done my prediction for this season, I had them around the same place, about 7th or 8th, and us as well, like us just ahead of them, because I think that's where we both are as clubs at the moment. Arsenal fans giving it all the big and the, like, they're mocking us. Or we're at the beginning of our rebuild. 2 years ago, when they were at the beginning of their rebuild, no teams can banter them because they were going for a rebuild. They were just starting a rebuild, so no team could banter them. But they're trying to banter us when we're just starting ours. They should be 2 years ahead of us because they've started theirs and got their plan into action. They're not 2 years ahead of us because they've finished behind us the last 2 seasons. They've been finished behind us the last 5 seasons. They're an 8th place team for a reason because they're just not being not good enough. And I believe on our day with our team and all that, we've got a better team squad. Maybe not because we're a bit thin behind. I'll openly admit that. But Arsenal, for some reason, Arsenal fans still believe them to be a big team, and they're not. Like I said on the terrace, shout out to the football terrace, on Sunday, unfortunately, you've got the big 4+2 now, and Arsenal and Tottenham are dogs at a dinner table fighting off scraps from the big 4. That's how I see it.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Jacob, anything to add on to that? Is there anyone that Arsenal have got that will come up against us that you just feel like, oh, if he gets the ball, I'm worried? Or going forward, is there any defenders that worry you a bit to break them down? Anything like that?
I think the one player that not always worries me, is worried me for the last 3 seasons, but I'm not sure if he'll play, is Lacazette, because Lacazette always turns up against Tottenham. For me, he's a very underrated player. A lot of Arsenal players say that he should be sold and all that, but Lacazette on his day, he's a good hold-up player, he's a strong player, and he has got goals. I just don't think Arsenal use him properly. So if he was to start, I'd be worried. If he doesn't, the one player that would probably worry me to have a good game is Smith Rowe, because just like we say with Harry Kane and Tanganga, that's another kid that was brought up in London that understands it. And if my memory serves me correctly, he was man of the match when we went to the Emirates last season. He had, I think it was Matt Dockett, he had him on toast, didn't he? Playing him on the left wing. So
everyone has him on
yeah.
toast. Everyone
that's not
has him
hard.
on toast. Yeah.
yeah, he's like beans, isn't he? Always on toast. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah. So it's Smith Rowe playing in the number 10, maybe not so much, because whoever goes up against Tanganga, I'm confident that he's fine. But I'd say literally again, the London boys, for Saka's playing Smith Rowe. These are the type of guys that I know that the Arsenal players in that team will understand that. And, even a Tierney, Tierney will just look at this like a Rangers Celtic game. So it'll be for me. I think the players that will stand out in this game will be the British players, and we've definitely got the best British players. So if he can perform, then I hope to get a good result. But if we let their ones do it, then we could fall short.
Yeah, I've got a question from you all here, obviously from Premier Hotspur TV, who says we have to attack Arsenal from the start. Don't want no negative tactics from Nuno. Mark, how do you think we're going to start the game? Do you think we'll go at him, or do you think he'll sit back a bit?
No, I think if you look at the last two games, he's set up attacking, and I think he'll do that again. I think it's going to be interesting to see. We've alluded to it. It'll be interesting to see if he plays the same team that he set out on Sunday, minus Delhi. And if he does that, I think we will all sit here and go, wow, that's very attacking. But it'll also be interesting to see what Arteta, because, he must be sitting there going, we can't really lose this game, especially at home and everything. So, are they going to come out and attack? So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But I do think he'll go out and attack. He's done it in the last two games. Why should he change all of a sudden? If we were at home, maybe he'd be a little bit more cautious. But away, he's got nothing to lose. Let's just go for it. So I think he's going to go and attack.
Is that the same for you, Alan?
Yeah, for me, he needs to attack. I mean, let's be honest. When we've recent years at the Emirates, when we've gone there, we technically should have been favourites. Like even under Poch, when we were playing a better football, finish ahead of them, we should have been favourites. But we always seem to let them play. And let's not get it wrong. At the Emirates, normally, I've heard more noise in the library. Let's be honest. It's a dead ground to go to hear fan noise. But when it's a London derby, they do find their voices, bless them, in their stadium. So that's it's true. But what I'm saying is, sometimes we've allowed them to play, and then the fans get on it, and literally we do a Spursy and we do Wilt and all that. So for me, just go for it, go at them and all that, because they haven't been, since they've got their magical back four that they're harping on about, they actually haven't had a proper threat, a test against them. So go at them, see what happens. I will be annoyed if he sits back defensive and we lose it. I'll be pissed. All pardon my French. I'll be annoyed beyond belief. So
say what you want, Alan. Say what you want.
So for me, he has to go to attacking. If he goes to that game away from and sits back negative and they allow Arsenal to dominate us, your fans are not going to like that. So just go at them. Hopefully, it's one of them where we can expose Arsenal as being vulnerable because what everyone else believes they are, and we pick up a win.
I mean, Jacob, coming back to your obviously 3 at the back, 5 at the back, but 3 centre backs. Is that how you want us to line up, or is that how you think we'll line up?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people in football think that if you go a 3 at the back, then you're being defensive. But if you look at Chelsea, they did the same thing, and they could have beaten us 8-0 at half time in the second half. It doesn't necessarily mean it's defensive. If you can set it up defensive where you've got 3 at the back, and then you're saying to your fullbacks don't go anywhere. But then for me, that tactic allows you to do either. So if you want to attack, you say to Tanganga and Reguilon, pin their fullbacks back. But then if you take a 2-0 lead like we did against Wolves, then you can literally say to them, right, don't go nowhere. So you can literally tweak you know, the mentality of certain players. But in a North London derby, it don't matter what the formation is, because the way the crowd is at the Emirates or at the Tottenham Stadium for a North London derby, the tactics go out the window. You know, it gets to the point where you get told something, but then the crowd's going wild. You know, someone kicks off, and then, you know, as a fan, you don't even remember what the tactics are. You just want a goal, or, you know, you don't want to concede. So I don't think it really matters about the formation. I think it's just about the mentality and saying to yourself, right, you know, historically, we don't really go to the Emirates and win. I think the last time we did that was when Kabul scored the winner, which was quite a while ago. So I agree with the lads. Just attack. You got to attack. I never see the point of starting a game as defending first, because if you go into a game and say, right, let's shore it up for the first 20 minutes. If you go 2-0 down, then what? Because then you have to attack, but you're 2-0 down. Why don't you attack first, go 2-0 up like we did against Wolves, and then effectively, if you feel that you've got to defend because of what happened at the Molineux, then do it. But we're 2-0 up rather than 2-0 down or 1-0 down or 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one more question for you all, a separate question for you all before we get to the predictions. Like I say, we're an hour and 15 minutes in. Nobody cares. It's North London Derby weekend. We're all up for it. Mark, this is now, in my eyes, this is the Harry Kane Derby. This is his game. This is the game he shows up for. He's got the most goals. I'm sure he's got the most goals in North London Derby history now. I think he overtaken Henry last season. Are you expecting a different Kane than we've seen so far?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's opened his account, Premier League. He's got it going. You know, looking at him smiling and that coming off on Wednesday, maybe the teammates have kind of welcomed him back after the whole summer thing, because, you know, all we thinking he's the one that's sulking. But you never know. Some of the players might have taken little things personally, the way he's acted, and now maybe, you know, they've said, okay, come on, let's get this going. And he just seemed a different player on Wednesday. I think, and listen, Harry Kane gets it, doesn't he? You know, we've seen him against Arsenal. You know, he knows the rivalry. So I think he'll be up for it. You know, and to be fair, if Delhi does play as well, Delhi will be up for it, because I think Delhi knows, and he can be a sneaky little what's it, you know what I mean? Old Delhi can. So I think there's some players that we have that really get up for this game. And the big worry is, and, you know, going off Harry Kane, the big worry is some of our newer players that aren't quite, you know, they don't get that 100-year kind of hatred that the two clubs have, and things like that. But yeah, I think Harry Kane will be really up for this on Sunday, and it wouldn't surprise me, and it would fill me with desire if Harry Kane goes and gets 3 goals and smashes a hat trick. You know what I mean? And we'll be sitting here going, you know, that's our boy. You know, he's one of our own. You know, and it wouldn't surprise me, because that's how damn good the guy is. You know, so I'd love to see it happen. I know Arsenal wouldn't like to see it happen, but I'd love to see it happen. And I have I have all faith that it's something he could do.
Yeah, 100% he could do it on his form. But Alan, how much of an impact does this have on our season? Obviously, we've got another international break in a couple of weeks. Is this game massive for how we go forward, or do you just see it as a North London derby, forms out the window, what happens, we're not looking forward anymore?
It's I think it's a bit of both points, because obviously North London derby form does go out of the window. I think the amount of times where the person who's normally the favourite doesn't pick up the win is quite, you know, especially when Arsenal came to us when they were at their best. We'd always pick up a result at home. Same under Poch when we went there, when we were probably the favourites, they would always pick up a win against us. So form always does go out the window. But for me, this is absolutely pivotal. You know, you need to, after 2 bad results, you know, if we go and lose 3 on the bounce, we're level with Arsenal. We're probably going to be mid-table, And then it's all about, because I think we've got a run of hard fixtures coming up as well. We got both we got Manchester United and Liverpool to come like in close. So you want to try and get as many points on the board, and it's insane because I'm very like relegations like that. You need to get as much momentum started early on in the season to continue and build. And because this is a team that's obviously starting to like become young and starting to build something for the future, you need to be able to have as much positiveness running throughout the team. If you keep losing, then it's obviously going to be a bit more of a struggle this season. I think it's going to be a tough season anyway, but this is absolutely pivotal. There's no way we can lose this game for me. If we do, then it's for me, Nuno out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most brilliant segue you could give me, Alan. Because I was just going to ask Jacob that.
Right.
If we go to the Emirates, and whether it's a 1-0 win, we've battered them, but we've lost 1-0, or we take a spanking at the Emirates. You're in Daniel Levy's shoes now.
Mm-hmm.
Not that much in his shoes, because I don't want you to go on about how much you would change, but just the Nuno part. Is he in or is he out?
If we get spanked by Arsenal, nah, you can't. I don't know. It's like I understand every fan's frustration, but you can't give a coach 6 games. And to be fair, if I'm Daniel Levy and I'm honest with myself, you haven't really done the best to help the guy out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you bought Romero in, which was great, and you bought in all these potentials like Gil and stuff. But if you wanted to bring any coach, it didn't matter who you was bringing in, you needed to bring in ready-made players that Nuno can go, all right, then cool, I can trust you now. Like Brian Gill's going to be someone we can trust going forward, but we shouldn't be trusting him now. We should be letting him play in the Conference League and all that stuff. So, if I'm honest, if you ring me, if we did get a battering from Arsenal and you rang me like 10 minutes later, I probably would be saying Nuno out. But then once I calm down, I'd be saying no. So I just don't think we will. Like, I don't know. You know how it is with a North London derby, boys. In the week, you'll be like, right, North London derby. So Tuesday, like, oh, we're playing, they're going to go there and lose. Then it'd be Wednesday, don't know. Thursday, no, we're going to win. Friday, this morning, I was like, no, we're going to lose 2-1. And then now I've had the chat with you boys, I think we're going to spank them. So it's just like, do you know what I mean? It's mad. I'll probably wake up tomorrow with the kids because, North London derby's big for me. So the kids already know that Sunday at 4 o'clock, got to behave yourself. You know what I mean? Daddy's in the living room going wild. Yeah. So it's just one of those, man. But
oh yeah, definitely.
The reason why I said like if we lose to Arsenal, Nuno, I've not seen anything from Nuno when he's been at Wolves or anything like that to show me that he's a manager that's developing to be able to become better. So whereas you've got elite managers like Tuchel who saw what was happening, knew exactly what to do to change the personnel and the system and literally dominate us the second game. I can't see that, Nuno. I can't see where he's going to do that. That's why I say we need to build up a lot of positives now and try and run that. But if it's too many negatives and like too many bad defeats this early on in the season, I just see it being the same. Like we may pick up a win, we may pick up a loss, and it'll be one of them seasons. And for me, I said 7th, but the way he's going to bat it, I see us probably bat 10th. Mid-table. If we lose to Arsenal, I just see it being a shocking.
I think
season.
If we lose to Arsenal, it will be tough because I think the next game we've got after that is Aston Villa at home, which for me, if you take the fans out of it and just talk strictly football, that's probably just a game just as hard as Arsenal because they've got players like Danny Ings, Leon Bailey that are starting to pick up a bit of form. So I think, if we're playing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's 0-0 at half-time, the fans are all, moody and that. Villa could easily go up the other end and pick us off and, end up nicking a win or a draw or something. So I think we have to, there's no option. We have to beat Arsenal because if we beat them, it's, everybody's all jumping.
It's a massive boost, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. You know what it is, mate. No matter whether Tottenham have been, under Jackson, Tini or Poch, if we've won a North London derby, it just galvanises, and then we've tended to go into games winning them. So if we beat Arsenal, and then we go into the Conference Cup and play, the next Wi-Fi postcode. I don't even know who we got, but I know we got a game, and then we play Villa and win that. Then you can go into the internationals, and if you've beaten Arsenal and you've beaten Villa, the likelihood is, depending on fixtures, you'll probably be in the top 4, and then I think after the internationals, we've got Newcastle and West Ham away. So Newcastle away, we've tended to draw or just nick the odd game. And then we all know what happens at West Ham, man. We could be 4-0 up in the aim one. So we need to win we need to beat Arsenal. We need to beat Arsenal even if we're in the bottom three or the top three. They just need to be beaten. It's been too long at the Emirates.
Definitely. I mean, Mark, obviously this comment here, never confident at the Emirates. Are you confident going into this weekend's game?
Look, history tells us we shouldn't be, doesn't it? History does tell us we shouldn't be. But yeah, I'm pretty confident. You know, I think, you know, if we go on the front foot, I want to stay positive. I want to give the players the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, it is a tough one. We haven't got many results there, have we? So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if we win 1-0. It wouldn't surprise me if we drew a 1-1. And it wouldn't surprise me if we won or if we lost 1-0. I think every result's possible. I just think, how do we turn up on Sunday? How do we line up on Sunday? And how positive do we think about Sunday? You know, I'm pretty positive after the last two showings of the teams that he's put together and the attacking nous that we have. Yeah, I'm pretty positive. I think we're going to come away with a good win, a victory that we haven't had for a long time at the Emirates.
Oh, that's where I'm going next. Jacob, give me your prediction. What's your prediction for the game Sunday?
I want to be positive for a change. You know, like I know I was, you know, I tried to be positive last week, but I just knew Chelsea were going to beat us 3-0. You know, I had a laugh with the geezer in the bookies. You know, he's a Chelsea fan, and he was like, "What do you reckon the score's going to be?" And I said, "I'll pop in on Sunday and put a tenner on Chelsea 3-0," and I forgot. You know what I mean? So I could have, you know, as much as I want Tottenham to win, I would have won quite a lot of money. But I think I don't know. I just think this is the game where Harry Kane's going to show up. You know, I think he's just going to be like, you know what, the limelight's on him. He's missed the North London derby now, like Alan said. He ain't scored in the Premier League. You know, he scored against Wolves. He hasn't scored in the Premier League. I think he's only had 4 shots in the Premier League. And, you know, the embarrassing stat of him against Palace and Chelsea, where he was hardly in the box. I think Rudiger was in the box more than in our box than Harry Kane was in ours, and Rudiger scored. So I think this is a game where not only he will turn up, I think Son will turn up. Son loves the North London derby as well. He's proved over the last 2-3 seasons that he's another guy that we can rely on. So it's a hard one because, like Mark said, I could think of about 25 results in my head. But if one of you lot gave me, you know, some of your hard-earned cash and said, "You know what, Jake, I'm skint, win me some money at the bookies," I'd put it on 3-1 Spurs.
Very nice, Jacob. Yeah. Very nice, Alan. Wow, Alan, what you going for?
Believe it or not, I'm going to be positive. I can't say anything other than a win against the scum. So. For me, 2-1. We'll leak a goal because we're not that strong at the back. So I think we'll leak a goal. But I just think we can get at them. Kane has to sharpen this game. It's no two ways about it. He can't have another bad performance. So like a goal. So I don't care how we do it. We beat them. I don't care. I do not care as long as we come away with 3 points.
I just hope the players have got the same mentality as you, by hook or by crook. So as long as you don't get sent off, as long as you're not, you know, for me, I don't like diving, but if you got to fall over, mate, just do it because we need to win this game, man.
Yeah, as long as we don't hand it to them by like a silly red card or like really bad tactics, we go at them and stuff like that, then I hope we take them apart and give them just a whooping that they deserve. But I will take any two. For me, 2-1 is my prediction. I'll take it any way it comes.
Oh God, yeah. I'll take a 1-0 win. Arsenal own goal. I will take anything. But Mark, the boys are stealing your spotlight. You're the positive one on this panel. This is you. Talk to us, Mark.
I got 2 results. My head tells me 2-1, but my heart tells me 3-1 with a Harry Kane hat trick.
Mark.
So
I love it.
I've been saying he's going to turn up, and so my heart's saying 3-1, my head's saying 2-1, but a victory nonetheless. I think we've got the strength. So on the front foot, stay on the front foot. We're a bit fitter. I don't know how ragged Arsenal will run during the week. I didn't really see their side, so I don't know. I don't think Aubameyang played, so
No.
he
Mate,
was
they were
rested.
playing Wimbledon, mate. I don't think.
Yeah, so I know Saka came on. I know Smith Rowe was playing. I think Partey played a bit. So I think there were some players that did play, but I see the win for us.
Yeah, they had an easy game against Wimbledon, and I saw one of their goals, and they were all like thinking it was an amazing goal. It was Wimbledon. You've played West Brom. They're under 23s. You beat them, and you were all saying they're all amazing and all that. It was like under 23s or under 21s. Then Norwich at home, everyone's spanking Norwich, and you beat them 1-0. Burnley aren't, they can get the odd result against you, but technically you should be beating Burnley. And then Wimbledon at home in the cup, you should be beating them, and they're like touting it as if they're back and they're Arsenal from years ago. No, just go away. No. And now I'm going to be really, really annoyed if we hand them the win. If we go there and attack, I reckon we can win. But yeah, they always overhype the team. I'm sorry, no, you're not that good anymore.
If we'd organised it earlier, we could have got a live stream of this game. So I'd love to see Alan in the North London Derby. I think it'd be very similar to me, man.
Yeah.
Oh God, I would not like to see Alan in a fan watch of North London Derby.
No,
that'd be the best.
Burst blood vessels and everything, like see veins popping out.
Well, I'm sorry to bring you all down with my prediction, but I can see us losing 2-1 at the weekend. I don't know what. I just don't. I just don't. I ain't got the words to put it in there, but I just don't see us coming out and pushing like we want to. I could see us maybe going 1 goal in front, but then I could see us sitting back and allowing Arsenal to pressure us. And we know what our defence is like. Everyone knows what the Tottenham defence is like. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I really hope I'm wrong, but
Rachel, Indiana, can we get a new host, please?
To be honest, that was my prediction on Monday when I was speaking to my cousin. You know what I mean? When my cousin was like, "What do you think the score's going to be?" I did predict early in the week a 2-1. It feels like that's what the score is quite a lot of the Emirates. Like we always tend to lose there, like 2-1 or draw 1-1. So, like I said, my head tells me a 2-1-ish, but my heart tells me we're going to win 3-1.
Yeah.
So I won't go with my heart this weekend.
I feel vile saying that now, like it does. But anyone who's watching that and the panel, we're not quite done yet. We're nearly done, boys. 20-12. We're nearly. I've just got one more question to ask you all because it's been bugging me all week. That I've been thinking about this question all week, and what's popped to my mind is what would the panel on Grounded Football Tottenham ask for this? Now, it's an easy answer for me, but I'll go to you, Alan, first.
All right.
As a Tottenham fan, do you know when I ask it, Jacob? You'll probably look into the camera and think, "What a fucking idiot!" Listen, Alan, you're obviously massive Tottenham fan, love the club.
Yeah.
If it was up to you, come the end of the season, would you rather a trophy in a Carabao Cup or FA Cup, or finish in Champions League football?
Oh. I want both. Can I be greedy? I'm having both.
No, that's the best answer. That's the best answer, Alan. Yeah.
Because for us, to obviously kick on and, stuff like you need Champions League football, but I've been starved the trophy too long, so I'm being greedy. I'm having both. No,
that's the perfect answer. That is the perfect answer. Jacob, what about you?
That's an option. We're all having both, aren't we?
No, Alan's took the one option, Jacob. Alan's took the one option.
I think for me, I think taking a cup, because I think with the squad that we've got, if we were to get Champions League football, in my mind, I don't see the point of being in the Champions League just to be there. You want to be a team that at least you're saying to yourself, get out of the group stage, you get an easy-ish team in the last 16, and then you're in the quarterfinals. Once you're in the quarterfinals, you should be saying to yourself, okay, there's Barcelona, there's Real Madrid, there's PSG, Man City, whatever, but we've got a chance if we get lucky. You know, Poch did it. There was not everybody was looking at it in the Champions League when we was in. They were like, please let us have Tottenham, and then we got to the final. So if I'm honest, I'd rather have a cup because, you know, I'm the sort of person in life you want to win, and it's like, you know, in life I do very well. I'm doing well in terms of like where I am with work and all that stuff. The only thing that I don't feel like I'm winning in is the team that I support, because we don't win nothing. You know what I mean? The last time we won something, I remember taking my top off in the rain outside the pub at university, and I was just going mad because it was like, I haven't felt like this before. Because the last time we won one before that, I think I was 14, and you know, as much as I was happy we won the Carling Cup, I think there's the days we had Ginola and that, I was just sat there with my dad, and it felt good, but it didn't feel as good as being a grown adult now, understanding everything about football. And then since then, you know, Tottenham, the last time since Tottenham won a cup, I met my missus, had 2 kids, bought a house.
That's not true. That's not true. We won the Audi Cup.
Oh yeah, I thought for a split second I was thinking, no, is this geezer about to embarrass me? Have we? But then you said Audi Cup. Oh, every time I'm in the WhatsApp group with my best mates.
See, we can laugh at ourselves. We can laugh at ourselves. It's what,
you got to though, ain't you? Because if you don't do that, you're just going to end up having a heart attack because you're so stressed, aren't you?
To be honest, Jacob, I still think that even if we won a cup at your age now, however old you are, I still feel that you'd be outside with your top off in the rain, swinging it around your head. Yeah.
I would.
I think I'll be out there not just with my top off. I think I'll just be in my pants, mate.
Yeah.
I'll buy some lucky wife ones.
To where your kids are saying, "What's Daddy doing? Why is he out there running around like that?"
You know what I mean? My son will run out and start copying me, thinking it's the norm.
Mark, it's up to you now. You are my shining positive light on this panel. Alan is the grumpy Tottenham fan.
Grumpy.
Jacob is my man in the middle. Jacob is he's Switzerland in the debates. Jacob is just there. Mark, you are up top. You are the main positive man.
What's this?
Trophy or top 4, Mark?
So what answers do I have left? I want the quadruple.
Yeah,
that's too positive.
Yeah,
I want all 4. Why settle for 2? You know,
it's because
I
we
want
are
the Premier League.
Well,
I want top 4. I want the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and I want the Jacket Trade Cup that we're in, the Europa Conference.
If Tottenham won 4 cups, mate, I'd end up getting lost and found in like Nepal.
Yeah, listen, look.
You know what
I mean? I know. We you know, Alan said why don't we have 2? I said why don't we have 4? You know, realistically for me, if we could get Champions League next season, we just attract better players. I think at the moment, that's what we need to do. We need to attract better players. I don't think we're going to get better players if we win the Carabao Cup. And I want to win a cup, don't get me wrong. But I think Champions League is the one that brings better players. And better players will make you win the Premier League and more prestigious cups. So, yeah, for me, I want all 4. If I can't bet, I'll have Champions League because I want better players.
See, we're overdoing it now because I'm going to agree with Mark. This is way too much. I'm going to agree with Mark.
Oh, God, I'm going to kick you too hard in a minute.
Champions League. Oh, trust me, we'll probably be at each other's throats next week after the Arsenal game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, no, for me, Champions League will get you the better players in their flat and be able to attract the better players. But we starved so much for a trophy. Audi Cup was a joke. If anyone's watching this, taking it seriously. Audi Cup was a joke. We starved for a proper trophy for too long. We need to win trophies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. Champions League will bring in better players, but we need trophies.
Definitely. I mean, that's it, boys. That's it. We're 13 minutes away from midnight. We've done well. Hour and 38 minutes in. Mark, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you?
Yeah, you can catch me on Gillingham on Twitter. Hit me up there. We talk all about Spurs, especially on a Sunday when I'm annoyed, and you can see me, you know. So, yeah. And then you can catch me here on Ground at Tottenham every Friday night. And then when we sit here and we go, emergency meeting, and we all go, no. You know, so yeah.
Jacob, let us know where we can all find you.
Yeah, so my name's there at the bottom. You find me on Twitter. You know, depending on the result on Sunday, you probably find me in a gutter. But yeah, so yeah, you can find me on there. You know, I'm gonna have some stuff coming out next week for sure. Now I've got my work load reduced and stuff. I've had a busy couple of weeks, so I want to start getting some stuff up on Twitter and Instagram. So I'll keep saying it, but you know, I will get it done. Hopefully, I can kick it off with talking about a victory in North London. That probably spurred me on, to be fair.
Oh, like the pun. Well done, well done.
You see that? You like that one, didn't you?
I did. It was good. Good.
Yeah. This is why he's a panelist on the show. Beautiful. Nah, Alan, obviously, I described you as a grumpy Tottenham fan. I do apologise, Alan. I didn't mean that at all. Alan is everywhere. If you want to find Alan, it would probably take longer than the hour and 40 minutes for the show for Alan to explain where he will be. But Alan, take it away. Where can we find you?
Well, according to Ryan, you can find me grumpy in these places. On here every Friday night, on Twitter, my handle's down the bottom there. On the Football Terrace after every Spurs game, giving my opinions. On Nigal's channel, Premier League prediction show, every Thursday. I am now joining another Tottenham panel show of a Thursday as well.
No, you're not.
Yes.
No, you're not.
on a Thursday, I'm always here for the Fridays. Don't worry. I can do too. I like talking Tottenham and having a grumpy moan apparently. So yeah, no, that's where people can find me in all them places there. But this is my Tottenham show.
Before you log off as well, mate. Before you log off, right, mate. R.I.P. Jimmy Greaves.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we are an hour and 40 minutes in, but screw it, we can go an extra 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Mark, the main man, Tottenham's all-time leading goal scorer, passing away. Obviously, the game we played as the news was announced was Chelsea, fitting to the man who played for both clubs. What do you think about him?
Look, I wish I got to see him play. So I only see, what I think we all see is footage of how we played. But listening to so many people speak about him, if he was about in our era playing, the same as you look at the Pelés, you look at Jimmy Greaves, you look at all these players. Just imagine they were playing in our era. It would be amazing. I'm lost for words. I'll be honest with you. I sat here Sunday and I was watching. Was it not soccer? It's not soccer. Is it Sunday? What's his name? With and they were talking about this whole Go Green thing and everything. And then all of a sudden, at the bottom of the banner, it came up. And you know what? I didn't have a tear in my eye, but I was really sad. Because he meant so much to us. He meant so much to the team. And to the club and everything. We've lost a great man, a great footballer, and not just for Tottenham but for England as well. It was a sad day for football, and it just shows you, his name will just live on and on and on, and we all go someday, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Alan, I said on the Coy's podcast the other night, obviously. Jimmy Greaves, you'd have Harry Kane, Alan Shearer, Teddy Sheringham, Michael Owen, Ian Wright, Robbie Fowler, Wayne Rooney. All these players would have grown up looking at Jimmy Greaves, wanting the goals he scored, just looking at it is a target for many English strikers, which is probably the greatest compliment he could have had as an English striker. I mean, do we obviously... Do Spurs give him a statue outside the stadium? Obviously, there's been petitions. There's been rumours of himself, Bill Nicholson, and Glenn Hoddle.
Yeah. For me, he deserves a statue. He's a legend of the club. From what I've heard and read is that it's been declined. That's absolutely disgusting. So I'm very disappointed if that's the case. For me, he should get a statue. So I never got to see him play. I know about his records, but I looked into it a bit more. And when it was for Chelsea, before he came to us, and even for England, his strike rate was phenomenal. An absolute. I would love to have seen him, be able to see him week in, week out, stuff like that. Because we think Harry Kane is with his numbers is really good, but he puts Harry Kane to shame. like with his strike rate. So I would just love to have seen it in person. Couldn't see that, but yeah, he's a legend of the club, and for me, he does deserve a statue at Spurs. But I don't know if they'll give it to him. But if they don't, I think the fan base won't like that. But yeah, an absolute legend of the game, and yeah, it's just obviously a shame that he's passed on, but it'll always be a Tottenham legend.
No, 100%. Jacob, how do you feel about obviously not being able to see the great man play? Obviously, all of us on this show are the same. We're all reliant on YouTube clips for a man like Jimmy Greaves, but just knowing how he was with Tottenham, obviously loved by the club, all-time greatest goal scorer. Is it a shame that someone like that didn't get the recognition that a man like Harry Kane does now?
Yeah, it is. It's like, there's a lot of things. Like, for a start, the statue thing, that's crazy. Like, you've got no disrespect to Man City, because Man City is still a club, regardless of what you think of them. But they've got one of Vincent Kompany, who, fair enough, he won stuff with Man City, but he was there for what, a smaller period of time than Jimmy Greaves, and probably didn't. He had the influences in the leader, but Jimmy Greaves was like arguably one of the best strikers in Europe, let alone England. So for us to, I don't even know why we have to do a petition. That should have happened while he was still while he was still with us. There's people like Glenn Oddle as well. Again, like, you don't need to really watch YouTube clips to understand the influence these lot had on Spurs. You got, like you said, Bill Nicholson. Like, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? You've got people like, at Old Trafford, they've got Dennis Law, they've got Bobby Charlton, Fergie. These are, obviously Man United have won way more than us, but those three people I've just mentioned there, the same influence as Bill Nicholson, Jimmy Greaves, and Glenn Oddle for us. So, the likelihood is that everybody agreed there, and then Daniel Levy opened up the letter and said, no, because it costs too much money. You know what I mean? He'd rather keep it.
Don't Fulham have one of bloody Michael Jackson outside their ground?
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, this is what I don't get. It's ridiculous. But no, not dig at Fulham and all that. But you can have one of your best ever players or best people that ever played for your club yours. So Daniel Levy just needs to make it happen.
Oh, exactly. God, definitely. I mean, like you say, even if it was up to obviously you saw my stalking dad last week in the background. Like my family explained, it was like he was stood there listening to me get roasted at school by the principal for being naughty. But if it was up to him, he would have one of Greaves and Nicholson and Hoddle and Gascoigne and players like that. I mean, every club has statues now, especially if players that you want to recognise being such a big part of the club, of the growing up of Tottenham Hotspur. So fingers crossed. But this is not football related, boys. I just want one word answer from you all. That's it. Before we finish, one word answer. There is an event happening at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this weekend. It's not nothing to do with us. It's nothing to do. It's an event I'm very much looking forward to. Alan, Joshua or Usyk?
Joshua.
Jacob?
Yeah, Joshua.
Mark?
You thought about it?
Well, the only thing that does my head in is because he got beat up by the fat Mexican. So I'll just have to I always take a deep breath. Like, I remember linking up with the boys, man, putting my feet up thinking, it's going to be a boring one. And then next thing you know, he's on the floor laid out by somebody that looks like he goes to the pub. So it's like, I think, like I said, if the only way Usyk ever wins that performance is on points. If he outboxes Joshua, which I think he can because he's a cruiserweight and keeps out of the way of his punches. But we all know that in a 12-round fight, Joshua does land. And when he does land, it literally stuns everybody. So I would go Joshua, to be fair.
Yeah.
Mark?
Yeah, Joshua.
Oh, lovely.
No contest.
That's what we want to see. Even positive mark for Joshua. We love it, boys.
We're all like that. We love to see the boxing. Daniel Levy's like that. Income.
Yeah,
no.
Yes,
That's what he's doing. What's
thing is,
telling that guy? Get him out of club.
Another thing, Anthony Joshua, it's like, if you fight at Wembley, light work, you're at a stadium where it's known for people bottling it. So just be aware that you're at Tottenham Stadium, weirder things have happened.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, let's hope this Joshua fight income pays for a statue for a legendary striker that everyone in England have lost, his family and friends and whatnot. But gentlemen, thank you very much again for tonight. Hour and 50 minutes in, you are troopers, to say the least. Hopefully next Friday we will be celebrating. If we're not celebrating, Jacob and Alan will not be on the show. It's just Mark. I need positivity in my life.
Next Friday, if we come and Arsenal have won, this is what you'll see. Not here.
Well, either way, to all the viewers, win or lose, this is the place to be next Friday. This is where you want to be.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, thank you very much. And until next week, I'll see you then.
In a bit.